iPhone 13 Pro has been on the market for well over a year and a half already. Galaxy S23 Plus around that same price point. Let's see which one is quicker. Beginning with the boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can boot up faster. Now, the iPhone 13 Pro does have an Apple A15 Bionic. That's the same one as the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 14 Plus. We have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 on the Galaxy S23 Plus. So it's looking like the iPhone will turn on faster. This seems to be the case pretty much every time. The One UI does load up a little bit slower than the iOS does. So you can see right there, we do have a faster boot, but not by a ton. The Galaxy S23 Plus is going to boot up pretty good as well. Now do keep in mind that the Galaxy S23 Plus does have a little bit more RAM, 8 gigabytes versus 6 gigabytes on the left. Now when it comes to unlocking these phones, we are looking at Face ID over here for the iPhone 13 Pro, pretty fast there nonetheless. Now we do have an in-display fingerprint sensor for the Galaxy S23 Plus, so that thing boots up very fast. And we can also unlock this with the face as well pretty quickly. So two options. Samsung's not quite as secure on the face unlock, but you can actually bypass that lock screen, making it feel a little bit faster than the iPhone 13 Pro. Now, the iPhone 13 Pro, when it comes to the general user experience, was the first iPhone to launch ProMotion, and it still holds up very good to this day. When I am scrolling through, everything feels buttery smooth, just like we'll find on the iPhone 14 Pro and 14 Pro Max. It does have the A15, but it's no slouch whatsoever. Now, Samsung really went to town here with the Galaxy S23 and S23 Plus, and you can see very fast, but also being very smooth. Another thing is they don't really have any lags or stutters really with animations and stuff like that. And while this doesn't feel quite as buttery as the Pixel experience when it comes to animations, I have to say that I'm pretty impressed with how this feels day to day. The S23 Plus is a boss. So if you are thinking about iPhone 13 Pro, trading it in for a Galaxy S23 Plus, you probably will be quite happy with the performance, generally speaking, just going through and operating through the One UI user interface. So we've arrived at the application portion of the speed test. Let's close everything out there for the Galaxy S23 Plus. These are in their stock forms. Animations are where they usually are, and the phones are not having any performance enhancements through settings in Samsung, for example. And of course, there's not much you could do with the iPhone. But let's go ahead and begin with calendar. You could see that looked like the iPhone maybe. We'll come out of there, we'll go into clock, and pretty close. We'll come out of there, we'll go into calculator. Notice one thing, the animation speeds are, in the way they look, is basically the same. We'll go into weather, and Samsung had that one. We'll head up out of there. We'll go into Play Store, App Store. Looks like Apple, maybe, that's pretty close. Let's go here to games, and we'll head up out of there. Let's go into Instagram. You can see Instagram first there on the right. Let's go over here. Now we're getting into the more third-party stuff. And let's take a look at how it scrolls. iPhone 13 Pro. And you can see the Samsung's trying to scroll a little faster, but it's still got to load the content. So Apple's still trying to retain that smoother look. Samsung trying to be quicker, but both of them doing just fine. So let's go ahead and click into something, see how they do here. We'll click into this. You could see pretty nice. Go over there. So when you're in, you're just fine. Let's go ahead and make a comment here. And no big issues whatsoever. Both very snappy. We'll go into Twitter here on both devices. Samsung with a quick win. We'll go into profile. Samsung snappier there on the Twitter application. Keep in mind that both these phones do run around the same price point. So Samsung on the right, keep that in mind. But the Samsung typically discounted, but now that the 13 Pro has been out for some time, you can get that discounted as well. Let's go into eBay, and you can see eBay faster on the right. So Samsung phones, man, they are killing it with the speed right now. Let's go into Groupon. It's just incredibly fast. So this one wasn't actually ready. So let me go ahead. That one wasn't actually ready. It thinks I'm in a different city too. I'm actually in Chi-Town, Chicago. Let's get up out of here. Let's do that again just for fairness sake. We'll go into Groupon. And Samsung, even though Apple had that thing already loaded before this, Samsung is now faster. We're going to categories. Samsung on the right, things to do. A lot of people say, oh, this guy, he's just a Samsung fanboy, but because I say that phone's winning. No, I say what I see. If I see the darn phone opening it faster, it's faster. It is what it is. Let's go into Best Buy. And you can see Best Buy is going to be first there on the iPhone. See, I would if I was being a fanboy, I just would have said, "Hey, man, it's on the right." Let's go into computers and tablets. You can see on the right laptops, and you can see pretty much the same. So what I really love is that whether you want to use both or you want to use one or the other, it's super awesome for the consumer. That you got these choices now. I mean, it's incredible. Let's go into Starbucks. That both platforms, no matter which one you're using, you're gonna have a great time. You really are. Let's go into Dead Trigger 2. I love that. It's fairness. You know, we want some fairness around these parts. Let's go into Play. And you could see, did I really, come on, Nick, get it together. Did I really just miss that? Yes, you did. I really just missed the play. Let's go ahead and do it again. How long I've been doing this? I'm gonna miss the play button. Let's get it. So you could see pretty much the same. Now, when actually in the games, I will say that you do get bigger screen for the Galaxy S23 Plus. So that one on the 13 Pro is gonna be a little bit of a step back. Also with the punch hole, it's a little more immersive for sure, and both very smooth in this element. Let's head up out of here. And let's go into the next game, which is gonna be Asphalt 9. See how they do to open this up. And looks like Samsung might be in the lead. It's so crazy because every time I was doing a Samsung speed test, Apple with the win there, they would just lose pretty much every game. Now at least some of them they're winning. Not every single game, but at least they're winning some of them now. Let's go into Subway Surfers, and those little glitchies and those little lags that they were having before when we kind of came out, not a big issue anymore. You could see right here, Subway Surfers, ready to go, super buttery smooth. It's all good. It's all gravy. Let's go into Crossroad, and you can see Crossy Road looking like the right here. Look at the notch compared to the Punch Hole Infinity O. Big difference. You can see right there, Crossy Road ready to go. I'm already running. You see that? I'm already running across the road already on the Samsung. Let's go into Temple Run 2 and see where they stand here. Earth Day was yesterday, actually. You could see Samsung faster on the right. And we're just going to play this game really quickly here. Temple Run 2, awesome game. Passing time. Let's go into Geekbench 6. On the left, for sure, we'll go into 3D Mark. That looked like the iPhone. And let's go ahead and open up the cameras. Let me bring an Android man in here. Hey guys, how you doing? It's just an Android man. He's just saying, how you doing today? Let's go over here to the camera. 3, 2, go. Apple a little faster on the camera. Nice. Let's go into camera once again. 3, 2, go. Yeah, Apple just a hair quicker on the camera. That can be important for some people. Overall, at the end of the day, who won it out? The 13 Pro feels a little bit smooth. You know, Samsung feels a little snappier in my opinion. So we still have that smooth iOS feel versus Samsung's now smooth too, but it's like smooth and snappy. So if you want smooth and snappy, I'm calling it the Samsung. If you want just smooth and you could deal with a little bit slower because of the animations, you might really still love the iPhone 13 Pro. Either way you go, you're very happy. Also, if you do want to upgrade to the Galaxy S23 Plus, you want to trade this in for a discount, you are going to be very happy. Let's go ahead now and go through these applications in RAM management. So camera, did I even give that a chance? Yeah, it's got to reopen it anyway and see what we get. So iPhone has always been king of this area. One thing specifically is right here in the landscape applications. When you are reloading them, you'll see they're super smooth to come out. Starbucks, Best Buy, Groupon, Amazon. And this is something that Apple really improved upon with having more RAM optimizations, because back in the day, those 1 gig of RAM iPhones would just hold an image, but the application wasn't actually open. Now, you know, these newer iPhones, they're just butter. So let's go ahead and check the Samsung. Typically historically, Samsung has been a little bit weak in this area for me, but in the past couple of years, they're really going to town in this area as well. You could see it still doesn't, to me, I don't know, it still doesn't look quite as smooth with the animation on those landscape applications. You see, I got to do that really quickly. If I'm doing something wrong, let me know. But Best Buy, Groupon, yeah, this is not quite as nice as what I see on the iPhone, but it's still Here's the thing, it actually still takes better advantage of the power because, and I'm not trying to, discount the iPhone. The iPhone still looks a little smoother when hopping between those applications in this test, but you have the ability to take advantage of the power of this phone, unlike you can on the iPhone through split screen, pop view. I mean, it's amazing what you can do on this phone. This is a smartphone with true smartphone capabilities. So is this one, but it seems more like you don't have the ability to take advantage of everything this CPU can offer. At the end of the day, RAM management still looks a little bit better on the iPhone, but still very fast, no hiccups, and no real things that are gonna like make you question the performance on the Galaxy S23 Plus. Go ahead now and run a CPU benchmark. I'll be back when they are done. And our final Geekbench scores are in 2273 on the left, 1872 on the right. And take a look at our multi-core scores. Apple winning it out there as well. Some people call this Apple Bench. Personally, I find Apple always wins in that test, so I wouldn't be too mad at you if you thought that. They always win the Geekbench test. But will Apple beat Samsung S23 Plus in this 3D Mark test? Let's see. I'll be back when this one is also done, but let me know your thoughts on Apple's Geekbench score versus Samsung's Geekbench score in this test. I'll be back. And here are our wildlife scores. Take a look at the iPhone 13 Pro, 2775, 16.6 FPS frame rate. Now this one does only score better than 44% of devices. It looks like 72% actually of all devices. So not the fastest, but it's not bad either. You'll take a look at the Samsung here, a higher score, 3126, 18.70 average frames a second. Now this score is better than 79% of devices. So this actually tests a little bit more of the, performance, I think, than Geekbench. It's really pushing the graphics in this test. So I do find the Samsung to be a little bit more powerful based on these results. However, in the day-to-day, what are you really getting? What is really going to be the differences in performance? Well, iPhone is still smooth and fast. This is the iPhone 13 Pro. Apple A15 is last year's chip. It's not this year. Well, it's actually 2 years now chip. So not the latest, whereas Samsung has the latest chip. And a lot of people say, well, come on, Nick, then compare it to the iPhone 15 Pro coming later this year. I will. But for now, this is what a consumer might be considering trading in for. They might want to get rid of this 15 or 13 Pro and try out the S23 Plus. And that's why I created this speed test. And you see in the S23 Plus, man, is a beautiful phone. Flat screen, thin bezels, little punch hole camera up there. Just a really good offering. Either way, these are awesome devices. Let me know your thoughts on which one you thought won down below and which speed test or comparison video would you like to see next on the channel. I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well. Thank you very much for watching, and peace.